Alien 1979 wasn't just another sci-fi movie. It was a nightmare captured on film, the silence of space colliding with pure biological terror. But behind the iconic screams, the production was a disaster. The director was nearly fired for trying to kill the hero, the actors were choking on toxic kerosene smoke, and the set smelled unbearable due to rotting fish guts. These are 16 creepiest facts about Alien 1979. And the secret to Ripley's toughness is that she was originally written as a man. Number 1. The ending, where Ripley dies. Director Ridley Scott originally pitched a conclusion so dark it would have ended the franchise before it even started. In the version we know, Ellen Ripley blasts the creature out of the airlock and survives. However, the initial plan saw the alien force its way back onto the escape shuttle before Ripley could secure the door. In a shocking twist, the creature would have slammed through her helmet and delivered a fatal blow, killing the hero instantly. To make it even creepier, the alien would then sit in the pilot's chair and mimic Captain Dallas's voice, sending a final log to Earth saying, "I am signing off." When executives at 20th Century Fox heard this pitch, they threatened to fire Scott on the spot. They felt killing the hero was too depressing and would ruin the movie's commercial success, forcing Scott to film the survival ending we know today. Number 2. The human skull, hidden in plain sight. The Xenomorph is famous for being the ultimate alien organism designed to look completely unlike anything found on Earth. However, the artist H.R. Giger actually built its terrifying face on a foundation that is disturbingly human. If you look closely at the front of the alien's head, specifically beneath that smooth, semi-transparent dome, you will spot a real human skull embedded in the design. In most of the movie, the lighting is too dark to see it clearly, but behind-the-scenes photos reveal the empty eye sockets and human teeth grinning from inside the monster's face. Giger did this to suggest that this creature wasn't just a beast, but a twisted distortion of humanity itself. Number 3. The crew was supposed to be unclothed. Censorship was a constant battle during the production of Alien, particularly regarding the opening sequence. In the original script, the plan was for the Nostromo crew to wake up from hypersleep completely without clothing. The director wanted to highlight the extreme vulnerability of humans waking up in the freezing, sterile environment of deep space. It was meant to be an artistic choice, showing how fragile we are compared to the harshness of the universe. However, the studio executives immediately shut it down. They were terrified that general audiences would find the scene too explicit or inappropriate, which could hurt ticket sales. As a compromise, the costume department designed the unique futuristic underwear the cast wears in the final film. Interestingly, the official novelization of the movie ignores the studio's demand and still describes the crew waking up exactly as the director intended. Number 4. The student in the suit. You might assume the terrifying Xenomorph was played by a stuntman or a seasoned actor, but it was actually a graphic design student named Bolaji Badejo. The casting team was desperate to find someone with a very specific, inhuman body type, and they just happened to spot Bolaji in a bar in Soho. He was a Nigerian student standing at 6 feet and 10 inches tall with an incredibly slender, long frame. He had absolutely no acting experience prior to this. Ridley Scott saw him and immediately knew his unique physical structure would allow the alien to move in ways that looked impossible for a human being. They put him in the suit, and cinema history was made by a student who just wanted a drink. Number 5. The missing pyramid. The iconic scene where Kane is lowered into the mist to discover the alien eggs was originally supposed to happen in a completely different and much grander location. In the early design drafts of the movie, the crew was supposed to find a separate, massive ancient pyramid structure on the planet's surface, not just a derelict ship. This pyramid was designed to be filled with alien hieroglyphs that would have explained the creature's history and life cycle. However, the budget for the movie was already stretched thin, and the studio refused to finance another massive set. To save money, the director was forced to combine the two concepts. They moved the egg chamber inside the hull of the fallen space jockey ship. Number 6. Ripley was written as a man. Ellen Ripley is widely considered one of the greatest feminist icons in cinema history because she broke the mold of the damsel in distress. But the secret to her character's toughness is that she wasn't originally written as a woman at all. The initial script had a note stating that all roles were unisex and could be played by anyone, but the writers envisioned Ripley as a standard male action hero. When Ridley Scott decided to cast Sigourney Weaver, they made a bold choice. They didn't change the script. They didn't rewrite her dialogue to make it more feminine or add a romance subplot. Weaver essentially played the role exactly as it was written for a man. Number 7. The Yellow Nostromo disaster. Ridley Scott is known for being a perfectionist, and this caused a massive headache for the model building team. The Nostromo spaceship model, which is the main setting of the film, was originally painted a bright yellow. The model team spent 6 weeks filming intricate shots of this yellow spaceship maneuvering through the stars. Then, quite suddenly, Scott changed his mind. He decided he hated the color and ordered the entire ship to be repainted gray. This was not a small tweak. It meant that every single shot they had filmed over the last month and a half had to be scrapped and filmed all over again from scratch. It was a massive waste of time, but it gave us the industrial look we know today. Number 8. The name Nostromo. The names in the movie are not just random cool-sounding words, they are deep literary references. The name of the ship, Nostromo, is taken directly from a novel written by Joseph Conrad in 1904. In early scripts, the ship had generic names like Leviathan or Snark, but they settled on Nostromo to give it a classic feel. Even the escape shuttle, the Narcissus, is named after another Joseph Conrad title from 1897. This literary theme adds a layer of intellectual depth to the script, grounding the futuristic setting in classic storytelling traditions about the sea and survival. Number 9. The Blade Runner connection. Science fiction fans have theorized for decades that the universe of Alien and the neon-soaked world of Blade Runner are actually the same timeline, and there is official evidence to support this. In the special features of the prequel film Prometheus, a hidden memo written by Peter Weyland explicitly mentions the Tyrell Corporation. Tyrell is the famous company that manufactures the replicant androids in Blade Runner. The memo describes Tyrell as a major corporate competitor to Weyland-Yutani. This Easter egg strengthens the theory that these two franchises share a single dystopian universe. It implies a terrifying future history where humanity is fighting rogue androids on Earth while simultaneously dealing with biological nightmares in deep space, all driven by greedy megacorporations. Number 10. The Mouse Droid. Ridley Scott almost included a character that might have completely ruined the film's serious tone. He originally wanted a small robot named Mice to be constantly roaming the halls of the Nostromo. This robot would roll around on wheels and whistle while repairing damage to the ship. However, the studio and the producers rejected the idea for a specific reason. They felt that a cute, beeping robot would make the movie feel too much like a light sci-fi adventure similar to Star Wars. They wanted Alien to be gritty, dark, and serious. The scene was cut before filming began to ensure the atmosphere remained purely horrific without any cute distractions. Number 11. The Tiny Actor's Trick. The space jockey scene, where the crew discovers a giant fossilized pilot in an alien ship, is one of the most grand and mysterious moments in sci-fi history. The set they built was massive, but it still wasn't big enough to satisfy Ridley Scott's vision. He wanted the human characters to look like tiny insects compared to the giant alien pilot. Since they couldn't afford to build a larger set, they used a clever low-tech trick. They brought in children. Scott dressed his own sons, Jake and Luke, along with the cinematographer's children, in scaled-down versions of the spacesuits. By filming these small kids walking around the props, the alien chair and pilot instantly appeared twice as large on camera. Number 12. The unbearable smell on set. The famous chestburster scene is legendary for how real the terror looks on the actors' faces, but that reaction wasn't just good acting. Ridley Scott wanted the creature's birth to look distinct from plastic special effects, so he refused to use standard rubber insides. Instead, the production team raided a local fish market and butcher shop. They packed the dummy's chest cavity with real shellfish, oysters, and organic materials to create a slimy, realistic texture. While this looked incredible on camera, the intense heat from the studio lights caused the organic matter to spoil rapidly. Within hours, the entire soundstage was filled with a suffocating, foul odor. The actors were physically gagging from the smell during the takes, which added a genuine layer of stress and nausea to their performance that simply couldn't be faked. Number 13. The missing 26 minutes. If you think the theatrical version of Alien is intense, the original rough cut was significantly more shocking. Approximately 26 minutes of footage were removed from the final film to improve the pacing and avoid a restrictive rating from censorship boards. This lost footage included much more visceral imagery during the creature's attacks. One of the most famous deleted sequences involved Ripley discovering Captain Dallas still alive but cocooned to the wall, slowly transforming into an egg. This scene revealed the terrifying life cycle of the alien much earlier than the sequels did. While some of these scenes have appeared in director's cut releases over the years, a significant amount of the original raw footage remains in the archives. Number 14. A low-budget funeral. Sometimes the most beautiful shots in a movie are the cheapest ones to produce. There is a somber scene where the crew holds a funeral for Kane, ejecting his body into the void of space. You might think they built a complex mechanism to launch the body, but the reality was much simpler. The special effects crew carved a piece of wood into the shape of a shrouded body. To film the ejection, they simply used a small catapult or slingshot to fling the piece of wood out of the model hatch. Filmed at high speed and slowed down, the tiny block of wood looked exactly like a heavy human body drifting tragically into the cosmos. It proves that you do not need millions of dollars, just a piece of wood and a rubber band. Number 15. The poisonous atmosphere. The spaceship Nostromo has a very distinct look. It is gritty, dark, and filled with a heavy industrial haze that makes the lights glow. While this created a beautiful used future aesthetic, it was actually a serious health hazard for everyone on set. Director Ridley Scott hated standard dry ice fog because he thought it looked too clean and vanished too quickly. Instead, the production achieved that thick, lingering smog by burning real kerosene and oil, pumping aerosolized smoke into the air constantly. This meant the actors were not just acting, they were spending weeks breathing in toxic fumes. The sweat, grime, and exhaustion you see on their faces are genuine physical reactions to the poor air quality. Number 16. The android's unpleasant recipe. When the character Ash is revealed to be synthetic, the scene required a very specific type of special effect to distinguish him from the human crew. To create the unique texture of his internal components and artificial fluids, the effects team didn't use standard fake blood. Instead, they concocted a strange mixture using cooked pasta, glass marbles, and dairy products. This combination created a complex biological look on camera that appeared incredibly detailed. The irony behind this scene is that the actor Ian Holm famously disliked the taste of milk products, yet for the sequence where his character malfunctions, he had to hold a mouthful of this warm, food-based mixture while delivering his final lines. The discomfort you see might not just be acting, it was likely a genuine reaction to the ingredients he was forced to endure. The film Alien is a perfect example of how budget limitations, studio interference, and creative accidents can combine to create a masterpiece. From the unbearable smell on set to the threat of being fired over a dark ending, the chaos behind the scenes translated into pure tension on the screen. If you enjoyed these dark secrets from the Nostromo, please hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into cinema history. Thanks for watching.